green-black elves. I've often said the key to not being disappointed in life is having low expectations. So, I don't know how I feel about this archetype. We got Imperious Perfect and Elvish Visionary as cards that were printed directly into this format via historic anthologies. I'm not quite sure that even with these cards, this archetype really has the oomph to be competitive quite yet. A core fundamental issue with the archetype is that it feels like only having one good one-drop at the bottom end of the curve doesn't feel like it's quite enough in the games I've played with other elf variations in the past. I'm actually going to go ahead and hop on into a historic constructed event with this one and see how it goes here. See if we have some thoughts and feelings on the archetype after playing some matches with it, or if it's going to be one that feels a little bit rough like the times we played elves in the past. Easy mulligan here. Yeah, this hand is quite good. I'm going to keep this bottom Thorn Lieutenant. Could be right to bottom a land tier too, though. Yeah, since we have a new standard season, I think I'm going to attempt to qualify for the Invitational weekend. I skipped playing the last two that I was qualified for because I don't really care for the current standard format as is, but there's a good chance the standard format looks a good bit different after it mutates a little bit here on Thursday. So I'm going to attempt to coast into the top 32 with decks that we're playing over the next 2 weeks or so. We have Super Nintendo Chalmers that we're playing against here. Very likely a Simpsons reference. Huh? I think I'm supposed to play this since I drew it. Beast Whisperer here lets us draw a card whenever we cast a creature spell, so these other two in hand, if we play them after this, will cantrip, which is nice. Do you change your arena name to match your Discord and Twitch name? No, that's not necessary at all, Hamlin. The only thing that's important to match is that your Twitch and Discord need to match. I couldn't care less what you're. If you want us to call you a particular thing on coverage, we're probably going to use your Discord, your arena name to call you that on coverage. But for the most part, we just need some of those things to match, so it makes picking feature matches easier. It's possible I should not play out both of these because we could get swept next turn, but at the same time, these are drawing cards, so like if they sweep us, they technically replace themselves, so kind of a 6 in one hand, half dozen in the other type situation. Yes, yeah, the next open is going to be standard. I'm going to keep the next open command updated in chat. So you'll always be able to know when the next one gets scheduled there. It's not available for signups on MTG Melee yet. Christy wanted to put together the page with some extra information and make things clear from the start to hopefully help forego questions that we had this past time. Yes, it will be a similar start time, but it's taking place on a Saturday. Will be a difference. All right, the Black Splash here, looking like it could potentially be potent post-board against a deck with sweepers. We get to bring in both Agonizing Remorse and Nightmare Shepherd here. Although, Nightmare Shepherd is quite ambitious out of this sideboard. There's only 8 black sources. Like, am I putting Unclaimed Territory on Demon for this card? I guess we'll board it in here. But we'll see. Yeah, we had our first inaugural Hoaglandia Open online tournament this past Sunday, or Hoot for short. The next one will be a standard tournament on the 25th. I think I board out Thorn Lieutenant against a deck that's more likely to have sweepers than More likely to have sweepers than point removal. Actually, Erebos is probably good here too. I kind of like Erebos better than Nightmare Shepherd. Much easier to cast a single black spell than double black. Casualties of War is uncastable in this deck. Largely for the same reason, it's even harder to cast these Nightmare Shepherds. Like, I'm sitting here talking about how a double black card probably doesn't make sense, and then someone in Twitch chat recommends another double black card. It's pretty peak, Twitch chat. Psycho Bear SV has sent me a list of other arena sleeve codes. There's some more in chat if anybody doesn't have any of those yet. Thanks, Psycho Bear. Is possible you suggest the tournament start 30 minutes or an hour later for West Coast people. So the long and short of it is tournament start times where people can play anywhere in the world are always going to be inconvenient for some number of people. So at the end of the day, the tournament start times are just going to be convenient for me, most likely. There's a real chance that the tournament can last up to 12 hours, depending on if the rounds run long. So, like, you know, starting at 9 a.m. means that I get to know that I'm done by 9 p.m. Right, well, there's our second Black Swords. I think I'm going to go ahead and Remorse here on 2. Try and tag their ramp or sweeper before they get to it. Sounds great. Yep. Yeah, and actually, and that's something we'll figure out too as we do more. Like, maybe we're going to consistently not actually go to time. And that could experiment. That could be good. In fact, experimenting with starting earlier is something I thought about doing potentially too, just because if we start an hour or two earlier, it becomes more feasible for people in Europe to participate on occasion. And I'm up by 6 a.m. most days anyways, so lots of choices here. I think it's just Erebos to grind them out. Although Beast Whisperer is real appealing. I'm gonna grab the Beast Whisperer. Yeah, there's a lot of great build-arounds in the deck queue. A couple of good specific decks as well. Yeah, I don't know that it, like, we could experiment with something to maybe try if we're doing these over the course of a few months, is try various start times and collect feedback and see what works for people. I really like this Planeswalker too. I feel like Vivien is one of those Planeswalkers that's just like, she's so close to being playable, but just comes up a little bit short a lot of the time. One of the big reasons she's fallen short in Standard especially is the fact that her static text gets countered by Teferi static text. Yes, there is a build-around request for simply building a deck with a bunch of the card styles. That's a good thought. If we want the ability to play these double black cards in our sideboard, Paradise Druid as opposed to Druid of the Cowl could be a real consideration. I think I agree with that. Yeah, I mean, she saw play in a deck that ended up not being good. Yet you're correct about that, chat. Lots of bad decks seem good at the start of formats before they get optimized. I mean, it wasn't even just outclassed by Field of the Dead. It was outclassed by lots of other things, right? Like, there's a reason why Field of the Dead got banned and that deck still hasn't popped back up, right? Nightmare Shepherd with flying. Almost said would allow us to pressure Teferi. Forgot for half a second there that a Boreal Grazer has reach for some god-awful reason.
Let's try this.
Alright, well, I mean, with our Beast Whisperers, we're going to go wide similar to them, right? So I get to go second Beast Whisperer into Elvish Clancaller next turn. Do I play second Beast Whisperer? Would I rather play this so that way in case they draw a sweeper, my board survives? Nah, let's just risk it for a turn and draw a bunch of cards. Big fan of drawing a bunch of cards. Ooh, that's a good one. This is both players for its triggers. So if my opponent draws a sweeper, they lose life for their zombies dying too, which is great. Well, let's find out if they hit the sweeper or if they're just trying to draw to it. Yeah, I think there's a good chance the Poison Tip next turn locks this up. Yep, I just don't have good attacks here. Wow, gonna have to discard the hand size here. Pretty unlucky. Shouldn't our opponent have attacked last turn? Why should they have attacked last turn? It was a good set, Bob. It was a really, really good set. Okay. So they get to find some friends here, and then they get to activate Golos. Okay, that's Escape Shift. Escape Shift is probably lethal, right? Thanks for the 16 months, Death Apparatus. Welcome back. No idea space. They both seem sweet. Freaky, thanks for the brand new Prime support. Welcome to Hoaglandia. Hope you're having a wonderful Tuesday wherever you're at in the world. So I assume they're going to get 4 zombies times the number of lands they just sacrificed here. Which puts this game solidly out of reach for us. No Virulent Plague or Legion's End could be a mistake out of the sideboard. Woe Strider with Poison Tip Archer to kill people. That would be funny. Yeah, and you just can't even force lethal here, right? Like, I can attack with all my stuff, but everything they block with, they only take 2 for. Yeah, no plague or interaction of any sort there. Makes it really hard to keep up with what they have going on. I guess Questing Beast is probably for this matchup, huh? And bring him in. It's historic. A format worth getting into, or does it get boring after a while, like Wild and Hearthstone? I enjoy historic. And in general, I think Magic does a much better job of supporting its non-rotating formats and having them be meaningful than Hearthstone does. For my understanding, Wild is mostly an afterthought in Hearthstone. In the most recent State of the Game update, Wizards mentioned that when the 3rd Historic Anthology drops in May, they're going to be ramping up for Historic as well. My intentions for here in Hoaglandia, our first Historic Open, was successful this past weekend. My plan is to run Open tournaments every single month here, with the Open immediately following a set release being Standard, but then the other 2 out of the 3 in a quarter being Historic. I think I'm going to go ahead and take Golos here since it blocks my Questing Beast and generates card advantage. Okay. I'm going to get this down. Yeah, standard always has a shelf life. One of the things that Historic really has going for it is, in my opinion, Magic formats are always most interesting when they're fresh. And with the Historic anthologies on top of normal set releases, Historic will be fresh more often than Standard will be fresh. Historic basically gets an injection of new cards every 6 weeks as opposed to every quarter. Steel Dingleberries, thanks for the 2 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Robert, thanks for the 25 months. So it's possible for this format to stay fresh for longer. We'll do Ziggs.
Wait, you think nature is kind?
I'm just gonna get the cantrip here. Oh, look at that. I was typing on my other screen and I look back and we appear to have lost. That's unfortunate. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really find those changes to be particularly exciting or anything to really write home about. Yeah, unfortunately did not have enough mana to Erebos plus sack. Beast Whisperer is actually an incredibly good draw here. If there's a card that can drag us back into the game with a little bit of card advantage, it's definitely that one. Okay, no red mana on this is at least good for us for now. They're debating on what they want to attack in here, because we can flash things. They can put a counter on something, you are correct. Do I keep Vivien alive? I think the answer is no. I think with this draw, I don't. Good friend of yours. It's really difficult to fix stupid, Robert, so maybe reconsider your friends. Things like what's going on in the world right now are going to teach a lot of people a lot of things they really didn't want to know about people that they associate with currently. Never forget that people reveal who they truly are during a time of crisis. How you see people behaving, the responsibility they take for their own actions, the steps they take to protect other people who are not themselves or lack thereof. That's who those people are year-round. It's just during a time of crisis, they just forget to put up the social facade that they normally do. Yeah, same, Corinne. Same. Trump was that big turning point with the GOP. He started saying all of the parts that they normally say quietly loud, and it became very difficult to associate with that group without also standing for the things that they stand for. This also triggers on tokens too, right? So that's sick. Bill Gates invented COVID to force us to get vaccines and inject us with microchips. What's funny is people who are worried about stuff like that almost certainly carry a smartphone around with them at all times, right? Yeah, exactly. Boshek's on my wavelength. Like, don't tell that person about the cell phone they voluntarily carry around. Good lord. During normal times, it's so easy to, shrug off and be like, well, people are stupid and stupid people go to stupid. But, when people being stupid is, responsible for getting other people I love killed or sick, it's extra difficult to just be like, well, live and let live. Let stupid be stupid. We actually have Erebos active here, which is kind of wild for our deck. And animation is A+2. People keep trying to conquer death by Crocs that never stops being funny. Yep. Yes, yeah, I agree. As good as Poison Tip Archer looks here, I think we're behind on average in games like this. I'm probably actually supposed to attack with the Steel Leaf there too, huh? Because only Kenrith can block it. Couldn't they have pumped Grazer? Oh, yeah, they totally could have, right? I missed it and they missed it. God bless us, everyone. Yeah, maybe I should start trucking in. Yeah, I'm probably gonna truck in next turn with most of my stuff. I can Clancaller to pump stuff up too. Wait, did they just die? They must not have realized. Maybe they didn't realize it did their creatures too. Maybe some of those cards aren't templated for both players' creatures, right? Rough, Weather Lady. Yeah, alright, that's some good clean living right there. Yeah, maybe they knew and just miscounted. It was a big board state, to be fair. They gained 15, actually. Opponent kindly snatching defeat for us there. We take those, chat. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth, okay? Yeah, we do that plenty. We throw away games all the time. Sometimes you get them thrown back. Maybe Poison Tip Arch to beat 2 mana, something like that. I think I block here. Hey, Kindleby, thanks for the 3/4 of a year. Welcome back. Poison Tip's got Death Touch here, so we'll get that down. Maybe I'm not supposed to double block there, and I'm just supposed to trade Poison Tip for it later. Could be. It could be possible. Okay, there's a finale for down the line. Let's just go a second Poison Tip here. The old Leonin War Leaders makes lifelink cats. Hey, Rebecca, thank you for the generous tier 3. Welcome back. Do I trade here? I'm just going to take the hit, I think. Poison Tip's just a good creature. This has a decent stat line. It's good against sweepers if you can pressure their health total a little bit.
I am proud to fight by your side. We still need
you. If you're wondering what Poison Tip Archer is doing, I'd encourage you to go check Twitter. there are answers to why Poison Tip Archer on Twitter. It's a good pickup. Let's me do this here. Johnny's Pride Mate still barreling in though, and like I can't really take the Pride Mate off the table, right? Because if I trade Adversary of Tyrants is ready to just bring it back. Actually kind of feels like we're dead here, huh? Back it up, back it in, let me begin. A couple of Noxious Grasps here. That's about it, though. Basically just trying to race here. And the fact that they're able to gain so much life makes it pretty difficult for us to accomplish that. Yeah, we've not put a Marwyn into play. This is actually a type of matchup where Marwyn could really have a chance to shine because they have limited removal. In general, Marwyn tends to just be a lightning rod, so it's pretty uncommon for her to do much. I think I'm mulliganing this. No black mana, no third land. This again's much better. We'll bottom one of these. We can go 1, 2. Maybe Rebecca? I don't know what all those cards do offhand. Could you put it through the form on the site, please? I think 180 is safe, or is it still too early? With 2 weeks out, I think you need to be like double digits at the very least. I would not feel safe at 180 this far out. That gains life when things come into play. Basically, I guess here at this point, don't have any way to get any cards going at the moment. Looking for a black source to get poison tipped out and maybe cast Grasp at some point. Alright, it's not bad. Pump up the jam. Crunch. Yeah, that's more about win streaking than anything, though, Winding Roads. Like, the whole ladder is about win streaking. Like, even at the end of the season, it's not uncommon to go from, like, I think there's a video of us on the last day of one of the seasons going from, like, 800 to, going from rank 800 to rank, like, 201 win. I want to say thanks for the entertainment and info, Jeff. Last month, as LGS owner's been insane, your streaming's helped keep me sane. Thanks for the biddies, Oratog. Hope you're staying safe out there. Kill you? Alright. Successfully linear. Top 1,200 on the ladder qualifies you for the Invitational Qualifier next month. Although, who knows how that's gonna work? Who knows how that's gonna work? Like, I think expecting in-person events to, like, be back this summer is probably not realistic. So unless WotC pivots and figures out how to do events remotely reasonably, I'm not sure that we're going to have an invitational anytime soon. Any decks of the day so far today? Both the Jeskai Planeswalkers and the four-color fighters were good. I can consult with them on digital Magic tournaments. I mean, I definitely could. I mean, they have people that should be capable of doing that without me. Like what we did to put the open out over the weekend was not technically complex. I mean, from a technical perspective, it was not that difficult. And I did it. We did it with basically no budget. I think the Walker's deck was more fun. I cast Nexus of Fate, though. If you don't like casting Nexus of Fate, the 4-color Fires deck is better. The Walker's deck is a taking turns deck. Yes, they could very reasonably do their invitationals remotely without, in the similar way that we did yesterday. If I can wrangle 200 random Magic players, they could definitely wrangle like 60 or 70 specific Magic players and like work with those players ahead of time. I thought the budget was $35. Oh, I did actually, the first month of Discord was like 90% off apparently, so it only cost me $4 to boost the server. Blue to Noob, thanks for the 13 months. $4. Next month it'll cost me $35. This month it cost me $4. There's technically a level above where we're at if we get more boosts. We're 18 out of 30 boosts away from level 3 on the server, which I don't know what that does, but just some other random stuff. Higher quality audio. It's 100% a tax write-off. It's under Ladder Rand, God bless. This hand's not amazing, but it's definitely keep it 6, I feel like. At level 3, there's negative latency. Messages arrive before being sent. Well, you know, it's the only other black card in our deck. Oh, they don't have a land. Okay, we take those here, chat. We take those here. Maybe because they're missing the land, I'm supposed to lead on Steel Leaf Champion. Oh, they did put us on the play, didn't they? Yeah, probably a newer opponent. We actually won the first match in this event, too. Oh, Imperious Perfect's great here, because Perfect puts us up to a 3-3, so this now makes 3 mana. Just draw the tomb, something like that. Crack you with these. Crunch, crunch. This requires 2 to activate. It's not doing that just yet, but we'll be able to start activating this to pump up the Nurturer here. Would love to draw an untapped land here so I can play this and attack with everything. Actually, that's even the black stores. Perfect. GG. Were they done on board? They could go chump, chump. Oh, yeah, you're right. Chump, eat, take exactly 10. They were dead regardless, you're right. Moving on up, the constructed event. And like I said, like, even once the historic ladder's gone, these traditional constructed events are open. And you can get 2 wins in these things with most decks a lot of the time. There's a large range of players who have varying experience and varying deck quality, and it tends to scale up because it tries to pair you against people with similar records, but a lot of times there's matches in the first 2 to 3 matches that are not quite as competitive as something as like the Mythic or Diamond or Platinum ladder, since there's not ranked matchmaking. Alright, let's do it. Can you do your daily quests and historic events? You can. Now, I'd be surprised if this archetype's efficient enough to be good against the competitive decks in this format. Like, and this is again why it's important to, like, think about the context of the games that you're playing, not just your record in these. So, like, we're 2-0 in this event, but, like, the deck we just played against, our opponent kept a bad hand in game 3. Their deck was less than competitive compared to some of the other things in the format. The first match that we won, our opponent cast a shatter that literally left them dead to the triggers when they probably were winning if they, like, play that game to go a little bit longer. Like, what does this deck look like against Gruul? What does it look like against Mono Red? Can it race Nexus of Fate? I'm not sure that it can do these things. And again, that's why playing random matches, generally speaking, is never good testing. Just because you can't know what you're going to play against to test things. This looks like a slightly more efficient build of white life gain. I think the white devotion life gain deck is very good in this format. The last opponent was playing a kind of budget version of it. And the non-budget version is incredibly strong, as we're seeing here. Yep. Yeah, we're dead to the healers. Ox plus Heliod, their life total is just too high. Again, I just have a couple of Noxious Grasps. Vivien for reach? Nah, I don't think so. Bringing in a Planeswalker against a deck that's going to go wide and be able to attack it down tends to not be a good game plan in my experience. Something that's interesting to note, and I'm sure this will change after we do a few of them, but while the viewer numbers for the Historic Open over the weekend were really good on Twitch while we were doing it, the numbers after the fact in the YouTube archive are actually quite bad compared to my normal YouTube videos. Yeah, I played the game for a little bit yesterday, and I was like, oh, I bet Declan.
I believe in you, friend.
I bet Declan would like this, and then I played it together with Declan, and he did, so he's gonna come down and play it with me. Yeah, but like, even like the finals of the tournament is like doesn't have that many views on it in comparison to other things. And again, like, people that are saying, like, make highlights, people don't understand how content works. Oh, this does have reach. I could have killed the bird. We were talking at the same time. Thank you for pointing that out. The amount of money YouTube videos make, you need to be getting into, like, the tens of thousands of views consistently to even begin to start putting effort into it. Like, video editing is incredibly tedious and time-consuming, and individual YouTube videos make basically no money. Yeah, we both forgot about reach there. Opponent kind of highlighting here why Planeswalkers aren't good in a match like this. Like, their Gideon is bad for much of the same reasons that Vivien would be bad here. Now, I think building board presence was more important here than killing Gideon last turn. The Gideon doesn't really matter. Matters enough that I'm going to take it off the board here, but, like, getting it dead last turn wasn't a big deal. Don't settle the wreckage me. No, there aren't metrics for subscribers versus non-subscribers that watch your channel, Lost Axiom. That's not something you can measure. It'll be, like I said, it'll be interesting to see just data metrics that I have that are worth commenting on, I think. I plan to do some more of these events regardless. I had fun putting it on. And like I've said before, at the end of the day, YouTube views really aren't worth anything unless your channel is ginormous. So, like, at the end of the day, that's not really a factor. After we run a few of these, it'll be something that I collect feedback on my quarterly sub survey. That'll be something I put a lot of weight into. The information and direct feedback I collect from subs every quarter on the sub survey is something that's really important. Oh, you mean people that watched on Twitch, like the Twitch archive? No, there usually aren't a lot of people that watch Twitch archives. Also, like, the Twitch archive had all the downtime in it, so I'd be surprised if many people watch that. You have to use the desktop Discord client to join the server initially. Once you've joined the server, you can access it from mobile. I don't know. There's infinite factors, like, and you can't really meaningfully measure them. There's a lot of correlation and causation type stuff surrounding something like this too. I think I'm actually gonna play the second Imperious Perfect here and then just start pumping out some 3/3s. Is my plan. And you don't want to manage a YouTube feed. Well, I mean, I put all the YouTube videos in a playlist. Is there any way you can check how many months have been subbed to me? You have been subbed for 6 months. That says Hex and says you are currently a gift sub. Do you think because of mono white, cast down is better than counter base removal from Ikiora? I think it all depends. I think every piece of conditional 2-mana black removal has upsides and downsides. I think, as is the case with most things, there isn't an easy always do this, never do this type answer. Bump Cycle Turtle. As a heads up, Hyper Ninja, tier 1 subs do not come with a deck queue bump every month. It's only the tier 2s and tier 3s that do that. I appreciate the support though. As always, all the details on how my deck queue system works can be found here. Oh, you know what? I should have made an elf in response to the Soul Warden. Now their Primate's gonna grow. Hopefully they forget about reaching in here like we both forgot last game. Sounds good, Goods. I have some deck submissions still waiting to be responded to that got submitted today, but most things have been submitted already. That have been submitted already up there. Thanks for the biddies, folks. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and kill this so I can pressure their Gideon. Cycle Turtle, I think, is the one I'm most looking forward to out of the build-arounds in the new set. So they got to eat my 3/3 that I mostly made for free, but I got to kill their Gideon, so it seems like a fair exchange for us. Wait. Oh! They forgot that they were going to take poison tip triggers. Rough. Archer coming in clutch. Alright. After playing in a historic constructed event again for the first time in a long time, I'm getting extra sad that the historic ladder is going to get turned off. I'd forgotten how much the deck quality drops off in these events at random. Like, there's still some tiered decks in here. Like, we played against Field of the Dead in our first match. That was a reasonable deck, but, like, the last two decks have basically been budget mono-white decks. And while there's some of that on the ladder, I feel like there's probably less of it than you hit in these events. Because, like, if you're Mythic or Diamond or Platinum, you, like, have to work to get there. Am I in the streamer event tomorrow? No, of course not. I'm taking tomorrow off to build decks that are in my deck queue, and then I'll be live Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. It'll hopefully get better when ladder player moves to events. Yeah, actually, that's a good observation, Three Smith. There's a very reasonable chance that people who are playing those tiered decks off the Mythic, like they still want to play Historic, they'll have to move to these. I think that's a reasonable observation. What am I gonna do? What are we gonna do for the Godzilla alt art builder? I have no idea. I have to look at which cards have alt arts. If decks don't have deck lists linked in the queue, I've not put any effort into building them yet. Tomorrow, I'm basically working all day tomorrow, even though I won't be live. I think we did, chat. I think we're dead. Sounds good, just a perm. I mean, people talking about Discord, you will see me in Discord tomorrow posting deck lists as we go. And asking folks for feedback and suggestions as I get the cores built out. Have you considered streaming your deck building? It's just not a pleasant experience, or Zamil. It's difficult to fully capture on OBS everything that I'm doing. I'm also often doing multiple things at a time, and like being live while I build decks means I can't randomly stop and like help Declan or eat or like do something with the kids in between. It means I have to sit there in one sitting. I have to like figure out how to capture my web browser and also capture MTGA. Like, when I'm building decks, my work is spread across 2.5 monitors oftentimes. And that doesn't even begin to factor in Twitch chat shouting lots of cards at me that isn't helpful. I'm gonna try and build every deck in the deck queue tomorrow, and then my plan for Thursday is if viewer numbers are good, we're gonna do extra long. I think I blocked out like 8 hours on the thing, but I'm gonna do up to 12 if the viewer numbers are good. So if you're around Thursday and want extra Hoagland content, make sure that you're around watching the stream. It's hard, always hard to predict. Always a lot of people on right after set releases too, which sometimes saturates it. I mean, you can donate while I'm offline, Drew. Yeah, that's a good note in general. If I send you an email confirming that I'm willing to play a deck, you don't have to wait till I'm offline to donate. The Streamlabs link works all the time. 1/1s with Death Touch. At least this can't get blocked by them. To use mtgarena.pro. I have no idea what that is. So no, I do not. I do not use that because I don't know what it is. The Imperious Perfect, actually quite good here against these Death Touch creatures, right? We get to pump out some things to trade with them. No, I don't use any deck trackers, no. I build my decks using the Scryfall Advanced Search feature and the Magic Arena deck editor usually. Although, I won't be able to access the new cards in the Arena deck editor, so these build-arounds will have to get built on Goldfish usually is what I use. MTG Goldfish has the best digital deck editor in my experience. When you prep for an actual tournament, do you monitor actual deck stats? No. No, you don't, and you shouldn't. Your sample sizes as one player are not statistically significant. The things I try to hammer into you all here on stream are because that's what I do for actual prep for events too when I was playing lots of events. You shouldn't keep track of what your record is because your record doesn't matter. The details of what happens in those matches that got you to that record are what matter. The difference between being 5-0 and 1-4 is often a few really small decisions. And you can have good runs with the deck and conclude that the deck's not worth exploring and it's not good. And you can have a bad run with the deck and be like, yeah, there's something here, I need to keep working on this. So I'm gonna go ahead and activate the perfect here, and then I'm gonna throw away my token here to make them pump this. Because now they have to spend 3 mana eating this token, which means that they can't play this Regisaur this turn, which is great. This is a great draw. Just gonna make a ton of mana next turn for us. Gosh, we're gonna be able to, like, Elvish Clancaller activate and Poison Tip Archer. These abilities become free with this because they put tokens into play, which makes this bigger. Just fantastic. Wow, they're gonna run back the same attack, huh? Deal. I think I'm gonna again block here to keep the Rotting Regisaur off the table. The 5th land does mean they can play the Order of Midnight, but that's fine. Activate the thing. Activate the thing. Do this with 3 floating. Alright, your move, Yugi boy. This is all I got. This is all I have. This is the Elvish Kingdom. Reach claims another victim. Another one bites the dust, and another one down, and another one down, another one bites the dust. Hey, gonna get you too. Another one bites the dust. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Attack with my 6/6s that I made for 1 mana, you know, no big. What is with the audio randomly being super loud? Is that ambiance? Is that what's loud? Because the SFX is down. Or like that big pop-up noise, but these other ones, it's not the music, right? Attack with our elven dinosaurs, right? Attack, trade with your 7/6. It's a bug with the mute while minimized option. That, sure. Sure. Well, I think I'm happy with how I board it. Let's go ahead and run it back here. The Great Wall of Elf Ball. Yep. Sometimes it's nice to get compared against things that are a little bit less competitive. They make us more likely to be able to do our thing in our brew. Have a good one, Jin. We'll get rid of the 2-drop here. Hopefully we're going to go 3-4 on curve. No blocks. Perfect. Stalinsky, thanks for the quarter of a year. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Camel Drags, thanks for the third of a year. I assume most things are well here. I haven't been outside of my house much recently. Does this deck want Castle Garenberg? Maybe? I don't know, there's like a real cost, right? We have like 8 lands that aren't forests. Like the castle plus territory hands are awkward for sure. How's the corn? There actually isn't corn. I can show you what my backyard looks like. The hashtag sponsored picture I did for the shoes had my background in it. Or my backyard in it. My cornfield is gone, chat. The corn is empty. The corn is empty. It's all gone. It's all gone. They shaved the corn. Where's the corn? So, Imperious Perfect pumps poison temperature up to a 3/4 here, so he gets the whole wrinkle at bay. How great are the shoes after a few days of wear? Yeah, they're good. Blame the aliens. Oh, right, this has Death Touch too. Sorry, I was looking for a picture of corn and I didn't think about that. We totally could have eaten this for free. Totes could have eaten this for free. I'm gonna blame Twitter, chat. Typical Midwesterner distracted by corn. Exactly, so you get it. You get me. There are actual factual fields of corn behind my house. This is it. No joke. No joke. Actual fields of corn. Welcome to Middle America, yep. They don't really have good attacks here, right? Because Poison Tip is whenever anything dies. It's a pretty good draw. You just like do this and smash, and then they can't even jump block because of Poison Tip. What's going on, youngest son? We're gonna finish this game of cards, and then we're gonna fly the bird, okay?
No bird. No bird. Don't do the bird game again.
No, the bird game. That's what we're gonna do today. You said you wanted to play the bird game with me.
I'll play different game.
I'm gonna play different game. Maybe we could do a couple different games, but we're gonna start with the bird game, okay?
Batman game? Batman game? Batman game? Batman game?
A Batman game. I don't have the Batman game installed. I told you we have to beat the other games, the other Lego games before we play the Batman game.
Then what do we want to do after the bird game?
I don't know. We'll have to see. We gotta see how many levels we can beat.
6, 5, 100 of them.
100 levels.
That'll take the whole day, and the whole tomorrow, and the whole day after.
What?
Those numbers. It takes the whole day after, and the whole day after, and the whole day after. All of those whole days. That's the biggest number ever. How about 160,
160, I don't think that's a real number.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Because it's the biggest number ever.
Uh-huh.
160, 160. The wide numbers never stop.
The numbers don't ever stop. You're right. They just keep getting bigger. They're like you. They just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
As they get bigger and bigger, there's shrink down.
Shrink down? There are really tiny numbers too. You're right. Man, that audio bug is really bad.
And there's some numbers we don't like. There's some numbers we never count to before.
You think so? Nah.
So many numbers. No, 3 numbers?
All right. I mean, we went 4-0. So we had something kind of cohesive here.
A new card.
We did. We got a volley veteran.
What are the gem cards?
The gem cards we can use to buy packs with later. To wrap up with this one before Declan and I dive into a little bit of Dune here on stream and fly some geese around.
I'm gonna fly you around.
I feel like the games we lost, we definitely got super out-lineared. And I think that's just kind of what you can expect here. The Nightmare Shepherd was...
I'm going to beat some birds.
The Nightmare Shepherd was super reasonable when we were able to cast it, but I do think it was a little bit of fluke to be able to cast this consistently.
What's that card?
I feel like if we were going to...
you're too loud.
You're too loud. You gotta give me 1 second, dude. I feel like if we wanted to cast this, you think I'm loud? You think I'm loud? I might want a green-black temple or two, get up to 10 black sources for this. 10 black sources for Agonizing Remorse and Noxious Grasp probably makes a lot of sense too.
You're too loud!
I also wouldn't be surprised if Erebos is a card that could be better. We talked about Paradise Druid too. Paradise Druid, hey, we need to be nice.
Close your mouth.
I'll let you be in charge when we start the bird game, okay? I think Paradise Druid could be reasonable over Druid of the Cowl. All right. That's going to be it for Magic for the day. I appreciate all y'all. I'll be back on Thursday. Thursday, I'm taking tomorrow off so we can play games off stream tomorrow, okay?
And this day.
And this day, we're going to play some games right now today. We are going to...